welcome back to my channel. If the creek don't rise, my name is Angie and I'm so glad you're here today. For this week's video, I am showing you 4 of our very favorite ways to use chicken. Chicken is so versatile, it's pretty inexpensive, and you can transform it so many different ways. So I'm going to show you a couple of our favorites and I'm going to show you a new recipe as well. If you don't love chicken, there's some yummy sides on this. And the most important thing about all of this, these are all very easy, quick, and use items that you probably have in your fridge and in your pantry. So let's get started on this week's video. As we have been doing a few times here lately, we are going to start this off with a pot of soup. I got my trusty yellow kettle on, and here's a clue as to what this soup is. Potato gnocchi. And if you guessed chicken gnocchi soup, you guessed right. So to my pot that I have filled with chicken broth and my cooking chicken breast, which I'll show you here, I am adding in a chopped onion and about 3 carrots that I have just sliced up. In this pot is 1 boneless, skinless chicken breast with some dried chicken base and maybe some garlic powder I think I put in there. And I've just let that chicken cook until it's tender, and then I'm going to cube that up. So once that is done, into the pot goes my 2 packages of the gnocchi. Now I am doubling this recipe today because this is an unplanned pot of soup to feed a lot of people. So this is kind of a spontaneous thing. I had fresh chicken. I knew I could just pull together a pot of soup. And so I decided to use both packages of gnocchi that I had in my pantry just to make sure this was hearty enough and to stretch it. So it definitely did, and we had leftovers. So you can see here, I have filled this to the brim. I seem to be on a kick of that lately, so I just took my big measuring bowl there and I'm moving about half of that over to my Dutch oven. That way I have some room here because we've got to add the heavy cream that we have not added just yet, and we've got to add our kale. So I have made this on my channel before multiple times. I will have a more detailed recipe linked below. This is such a delicious, hearty soup that comes together pretty quick and easy with that potato gnocchi. It's like little potato dumplings, so delicious, and it is a chicken broth and a heavy cream base. You cannot go wrong with that. Look at that. So good, so filling. So if you have never made this one before, this is an easy way to use chicken by making a soup. All kinds of chicken soups you can make. This gnocchi one is delicious. It heats up well as leftovers. That's what this bowl is here. For the next night, we ate the leftovers. I just put a few croutons in there to eat with it. This is one easy soup to put together using chicken. You won't regret making this one. Now we all know that chicken makes a delicious sandwich as well. So next up, I'm going to show you one of our favorite ways to use chicken to make a sandwich that is so delicious and flavorful. It feels like something you'd get eating out at a restaurant, and you can make it right here at home. These are chicken Philly sandwiches. So I have 1 boneless, skinless chicken breast. I have that sliced up, and I'm going in with my jalapeno salt just to add a little bit of flavor. I'm adding in a little bit of black pepper and some garlic powder. So basically you just can season your chicken up however you want. Now my chicken will cook just a little bit more here after I add it back in with the veggies. But I went ahead and got the chicken almost done, removed it from the pan. I used a whole box of these baby bella mushrooms and sliced up some onion in there. You could also use bell pepper. That will be delicious in this. But you just want to saute these together to get them to your liking as far as tenderness. Once I get those how I want them, I'm going to add back in my chicken. Right here beside it, I'm cooking up a whole package of asparagus. That was so good. It hit the spot this night particularly. There's the chicken I'm adding back in, and I'm just going to give it a few shakes of some Worcestershire sauce. You could also use soy sauce. Not a lot. You just want a little bit in there to give it some extra flavor. I'm just going to let this chicken Make sure it's finished all the way through as it sautés with these mushrooms and these onions. This is so delicious. This mixture right here is so good. You could put this over noodles, you could put it over rice. You could do all kinds of things with just this chicken and veggie mixture. But after the chicken is done, the veggies are where I want them to be. I'm taking 4 slices of provolone cheese and I'm just putting that on top of the chicken. Going to put the lid on and let this melt, and then we will begin making our sandwiches. Look at all this melty cheese. How perfect is that? So I toasted up these hoagie rolls in my air fryer, put on a little bit of mayonnaise and a little bit of horseradish cream sauce and some banana peppers. And then now I'm just layering in that delicious chicken and veggie mixture. The cheese, oh my word, it was just so melty and delicious. Provolone is so good for that. And yeah, I just piled this on. What a yummy sandwiches this is. Definitely crisping up the bun is really important because it's a pretty hearty sandwich you got there. So you want to give that a little bit of a toast so it just makes it a little bit more firm. These are so good. Again, I don't know why I don't make these more often, but we sure love them. So I just also in the air fryer did some of the restaurant style shoestring French fries that are always delicious. And this was James' plate. And for myself, I just cooked up that asparagus. He's not an asparagus fan, so I had just a few fries and a big portion of asparagus. This was delicious. I encourage you to give this one a try if you haven't. It's quick and easy and just has so much flavor. An excellent sandwich. Here is another delicious recipe using chicken. This is oven-baked Mississippi chicken. This is my first time to ever make a Mississippi chicken of any kind, and we absolutely loved it. It is packed with flavor. It bakes in about 30 minutes, and it's very easy to put together. Just like with the Mississippi pot roast, you are using dry ranch dressing and an au jus packet. Both of those are your delicious seasoning to put on your chicken. I had 1 large boneless skinless chicken breast and 1 small one. I wanted to use the rest of them up, so I just kind of filleted them down to where they were about the same size and got them into my baking dish. For these envelopes of seasoning, the great thing about them, you can use whatever amount you want based on your flavor preferences. Both of these are pretty salty seasonings, so based on what chicken I had, I decided to do about 1/3 a packet of each one, and you just fold it up real tight and save it to the next time you need some really good seasoning. So I'm just kind of rolling these around here, getting everything coated. The recipe said just to sprinkle on the top, but I decided to kind of just move them around a little bit, make sure everything was covered in my baking dish. I probably could have bumped up to the next size, but these do shrink down when they bake. But anyway, you get everything coated, then you're going to move on to your pepper rings. So pepperoncini, I don't know really how to say that. Banana pepper rings, that's what I have. I have just a few left in the jar and just a little bit of the juice. And I poured off some juice. I had more than that, but I wanted about this amount for this to bake in. It's not really spicy. It has a little bit of a kick, but I wouldn't necessarily deem it as spicy. But what that did do, provided such great liquid and flavor for that to bake in. It was perfect. For my side tonight, I had a couple of zucchinis that needed to be used, and the same with a red bell pepper, and then I added in some onion. I'm just going to saute these together with this jalapeno salt and a little bit of garlic powder, and this is going to be one of our sides. I did want to do baked potatoes tonight, and that's one reason I looked for a oven version for this Mississippi chicken. I knew I wanted to try that, but there was oven and crock pot. I'm sure crock pot is fantastic too, but I went for the oven version tonight, and it really did not disappoint. Here it is, fresh out of the oven. This is from plainchicken.com, and part of the recipe notes that it was really good with some cheese after it had baked just for the last few minutes. So I just took 2 slices of provolone, broke those in half, covered the chicken, and put them back in just to melt. Giving my veggies here another stir. Everything is getting real close to being done. I put in just a little splash of Worcestershire sauce on these as well, just to give them a little bit more flavor. We've just really been enjoying eating some fresh sauteed vegetables lately. They're a good side. So this is pretty much all done now. Our baked potatoes are done. We've got those fixed up just how we like them. And look at the cheese melt on this chicken. So good. I was able to use that provolone cheese that I had purchased for the chicken Philly sandwiches, put that on this. No, I will make Mississippi chicken again. I think it would be great served over rice or over buttered noodles. We really, really enjoyed it. And if you haven't tried it, give this one a try. And for this last quick and easy recipe that I'm going to show you for using chicken is my favorite way to make barbecue chicken. Now, I am using another boneless, skinless chicken breast. I've got that cut into strips, and I'm seasoning that up with black pepper and some Lawry's seasoning salt, just to get some good seasoning on here. Next, I'm going to go in with a very light coating of flour, and I'm going to fry these up in my skillet. That is my favorite way to make barbecue chicken. I like for there to be a little bit of a breading or a coating on there for that barbecue sauce to stick to. Just makes it so delicious. I love making bone-in barbecue chicken as well. Sometimes I just use the whole boneless, skinless chicken breast, but tonight I just cut them up into tenders, seasoned them, fried them, and then I just put some Sweet Baby Ray's. Just as simple as can be. And I am just getting these all tossed around, make sure there's plenty of sauce to cover everything. And this is an oven-safe skillet, so in the oven it went. I have showed these a few times lately on my channel. This is my mom's recipe, chicken and a biscuit. You start off with a can of the small biscuits. Sometimes those are a little hard to find. You could use grands, I suppose, maybe tear them up. But I just use the small ones. That's how she always made it. And this was her recipe. She came up with this. So you put your chicken in a greased baking dish. You put 1 can of cream of chicken soup, 1 can of milk, mix that together, pour it over the biscuits. I'm putting a little black pepper. You can put a little parsley. You bake this in the oven for about 30 minutes or so on 350, 375. You just want your biscuits to be not doughy at all. They need to be cooked all the way through. And it's the quickest and easiest 3-ingredient side. So good. And barbecue chicken, chicken and a biscuit, comfort food. Needed a comfort food recipe for tonight. It had been a day. Now, I might tell you guys what kind of day it had been coming up. I'm not going to get into that on this video, but it had been a day. So we are making a super easy peach cobbler, and I follow the recipe that's the cup. So a cup of milk, cup of self-rising flour, cup of sugar, and then I have a can of peaches. I pour in the liquid ingredients here, kind of get those mixed in, and then you just want to put some pats of butter on the top and get that thing in the oven. And here is the plate. It doesn't look that pretty, but it is so delicious. When you bake the barbecue sauce like that, it just gets really thick and kind of gels up a little bit. It's just really adheres to the chicken. The chicken and the biscuit side is always a winner. Some green beans. This is comfort food. It hit the spot that night. It was so, so good. Here is the peach cobbler right out of the oven. I just served this up with a little bit of heavy cream drizzled over mine. I didn't have any ice cream, so heavy cream on the top was perfect. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you got some good inspiration from today's video. If you did, give it a big old thumbs up down in the comments. That really helps my channel out. It lets YouTube know that people are enjoying this content and they might share it a little more often. And then if you haven't subscribed, oh, please do that and come back each week when I'm in the kitchen. You can be here with me. All right, see you next time. Good Lord willing and the creek don't rise.